President Donald Trump delivered a scathing critic of Western nations, asserting that the United States, NATO, the United Kingdom, and the European Union are not victims in the current global geopolitical landscape. Speaking at a rally, the president declared the West sulks, but they are not the victims here. For too long, they have allowed themselves to be exploited and have failed to recognize the real threats. The statement comes amid ongoing debates about international alliance and the shifting balance of power, suggesting a fundamental reassessment of traditional partnerships under the current administration. Trump's remark indicate a continued emphasis on national interests and a skepticism toward multilateral institutions that he views as not adequately serving American objectives. His rhetoric often highlights a perception of unfair burdens placed upon the United States within these alliances, prompting calls for greater burden sharing and a re-evaluation of commitments. In a direct and forceful accusation, President Trump also leveled charges of conspiracy against Chinese President Xi Jinping, alleging that Beijing is actively working against American interests. They are conspiring against us, Trump stated, referring to China's growing influence and its strategic alliance. This accusation was made with particular emphasis on a recent high-profile military parade in Beijing, which saw an unprecedented display of unity between Chinese President Xi Jinping, Russian President Vladimir Putin, and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The parade, a massive show of force by China, showcased advanced military hardware and capabilities, sending a clear message about Beijing's expanding power and its willingness to project it on the global stage. The visual spectacle of the three leaders standing together at the heart of the event served as a powerful symbol of their converging interests and their collective challenge to the existing Western-led international order. The Beijing parade was not merely a ceremonial event. It served as the culmination of key talks held between China, Russia, and North Korea, solidifying their strategic partnership. President Xi Jinping, President Vladimir Putin, and Chairman Kim Jong-un took center stage, projecting an image of formidable unity and shared purpose. Analysts note that this unprecedented alignment of three powerful nations, all of whom have strained relations with the United States and its allies, signals a significant realignment in global geopolitics. The discussions held prior to the parade reportedly covered a range of topics, including economic cooperation, security agreements, and coordinated response to perceived threats from Western powers. The show of military might on display during the parade was interpreted by many as a direct message to Washington and its allies, demonstrating the collective strength and resolve of this emerging bloc. Following these developments, President Trump announced his intention to deploy more United States troops to Poland. This decision, conveyed through an official statement from the White House, underscores a continued commitment to strengthening NATO's eastern flank and deterring potential aggression in the region. The move is seen as a direct response to concerns about Russian military movements and a reinforcement of security assurance to Eastern European allies. Secretary of Defense Peter Hegseth elaborated on the deployment, explaining that the additional troops would bolster existing American forces in Poland and has joint training exercise and improve interoperability with Polish armed forces. He emphasized that the deployment is a defensive measure aimed at ensuring regional stability and deterring any potential adversary. The announcement of increased troop presence in Poland also comes in the context of broader discussion within NATO regarding collective defense and deterrence. President Trump has consistently called for European allies to increase their defense spending and to take on a greater share of the burden for their own security. The deployment to Poland aligns with this strategy, demonstrating a continued American commitment to the alliance while simultaneously urging European nations to step up their contribution. The decision is likely to be welcomed by Poland and other Eastern European nations, who view a strong American military presence as a crucial deterrent against potential threats from Russia. Secretary of State Marco Rubio addressed the implications of the Beijing parade, stating that the United States is closely monitoring the evolving alliance between China, Russia, and North Korea, Rubio emphasized that while the United States seeks peaceful relations, it will not ignore actions that undermine international stability or threaten American interests and those of its allies. He reiterated the importance of strong alliance and urged democratic nations to work together to counter authoritarian expansionism. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard provided an assessment of the strategic implications of the three nations alignment, confirming that intelligence agencies are carefully analyzing the scope and nature of their coordinated activities. Gabbard highlighted the need for robust intelligence gathering to understand the evolving threats posed by this burgeoning partnership. The West sulks rhetoric from President Trump reflects a broader sentiment within his administration that traditional allies have often taken American support for granted. This perspective advocates for a more transactional approach to international relations, where alliances are evaluated based on their direct benefits to the United States. This approach has led to friction with some European leaders who emphasize the importance of shared values and collective security in maintaining global stability. The president's outspoken criticism are part of his consistent message that the United States must prioritize its own economic and security interests above all else, and that alliance must serve those interests directly and effectively. The increased cooperation among China, Russia, and North Korea represent a significant challenge to the international order that has largely been shaped by Western democracies since the end of the Cold War. This trilateral alignment could lead to more coordinated action on diplomatic, economic, and military fronts, potentially creating a formidable counterweight to Western influence. The show of force in Beijing served as a stark visual representation of this emerging power dynamics, compelling many observers to reevaluate the global geopolitical landscape. The implications for trade, security, and diplomatic relations worldwide are profound, suggesting a future characterized by increased competition and potentially heightened tensions between these blocs. President Trump's decision to send more troops to Poland is a tactical move that signals a continued American commitment to its strategic interests in Europe. Even as his administration reevaluates other alliances, it aims to reassure allies on NATO's eastern flank and to project strength in the face of perceived Russian aggression. This balancing act of criticizing traditional allies while simultaneously reinforcing strategic positions highlights the complex and often contradictory nature of current U.S. foreign policies. The overall message from the Trump administration is clear. The United States will prioritize its own security and economic well-being, will challenge what it perceives as unfair burden, and will respond decisively to what it views as direct threats from any quarters. That's all for me for today. If you like the video presentation and you would like to follow for more, hit that subscribe and like button now, and we will continue to build this show for you. Thank you to all of you guys who have subscribed. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much. I will see you soon. Bye for now.